Hi guys, it's Erin. Today I want to take you on a September farm and garden tour. The weather is starting to turn. Today might be the last really good day that we have for a little while. It's going to be 75, but tomorrow it's supposed to rain, and then apparently there's some fronts coming in, so classic Seattle type weather is coming. And I wanted to start right here because this tree, you can see, is already here for fall. We planted a few maple trees over the last couple of years so that we could get some of that fall color, and she's shining right now. This time of year, it's a big transition from summer to fall, at least in my area. The farm is slowing down. I have less and less flowers every week, and the gardens are starting to put on their fall colors, and the fall harvest is on us. And I love this time of year. It's so peaceful to me. And the big swing of weather from hot and dry to cool and rainy, it's a real thing for people from the Pacific Northwest because we have such a long, dreary fall through spring where it's just cool and gray and dark and rainy for so long that we tend to feel guilty if we're not outside every single day, that the weather is good, that it's actually so comforting when we finally get that cool weather back that you can go inside and spend the day cozy by a fireplace and making soup and drinking hot tea and just not feel guilty about it. Just have those cozy, quiet days and feel good about it. It's hard to explain unless you live in a place, and a lot of you guys do live up north, where you can totally relate that the summertime, the late spring through summer and early fall is fantastic, but heaven forbid you go inside on a sunny day and do nothing just because. It's just the guilt is overwhelming because we know we have another 6, 7, 8 months of cold and dark and gray. With all that being said, it's just to say that I love the big transition season, fall, from summer to fall, and then also on the flip side, when it's coming out of winter into spring, that's my other favorite time of year because you're finally seeing those little bits of sun and warmth after a long, hard winter. So let me get the tour started. Just fair warning, I did not go around and do any deadheading, so you're going to see the reality of it, but there's a lot that's still really beautiful and a lot of transition coming that I want to show you where we're at. Okay, starting in this corner, this is our veggie garden. This is just, I wanted to show you the pollinator garden that we put together. This was just a wildflower garden. I did plant a couple of zinnias earlier this year, and I thought that they had all died, but they actually came together. But a lot of this is finishing up for the year, but that's the brilliance of it, is that as all these beautiful flowers decide that it's time to go to seed, they're dropping next year's garden in the ground, and I'm here for it. There's so much beautiful color still left in here that I'm so excited to see what happens next year. Everything's sort of coming to the end. The sunflowers are drooping. The figs have all been harvested, but it's looking beautiful. So this maple tree is obviously that bright orange. This tree will turn golden yellow, and then this one is halfway through to being red. This one's the oldest. The other two are just a couple years old, but I'm really looking forward to when this one and that one, and maybe a few more, if we get to be that great big size and we can see it from everywhere this time of year. Okay, so let's take a look around out front. We'll go inside the veggie garden and see what we can see. Okay, there's only so much to see in here. I have, the lilies are all done. I do sometime soon need to find a home for 50 lilies. Same with the gladiolas. These are all done obviously for the season, but I need to find a permanent home for them so they don't live in this box. This, you can see my pumpkins. I got a couple good ones out of it, but it's all powdery mildew. It's time for it all to go. And I'll just harvest those. I didn't grow them to eat. I grew it for fall decorating, so it's perfect time. The tomatoes are still going strong despite the weather turning. You can see there, a little red. I got to get in there and harvest. Sadly, my kale is being eaten. We have cabbage moths, and they leave their little worms all over the place, their little caterpillars, and they chew up anything in the cabbage family. So my flowering kale, I got to get out here with some Captain Jacks and see if I can't take care of it so I can at least get a few blooms out of this guy. All of my iris, I just need to come cut them all back here pretty quick. The nasturtium has reseeded itself from a planting maybe 10 years ago. No, not that long. Maybe 5 years ago we planted some, and it just comes back every year. My corn, we planted glass gem corn in here, and the stalks are big and beautiful, but they never really produced much as far as ears. I don't think I have a long or hot enough season to make that work, but it was fun. These will look great as decoration on the front porch. Cucumbers are all done. I have lots of kale. That's really about it for the veggie garden. In the near future, I will have garlic to plant in there, and then I'm going to start a late season crop of lettuce and some other cool season flowers. Flowers are always on my mind. And another late season crop of lettuce and other veggies. Okay, let's take a quick look at the front garden because it's still in full amazing bloom. I swear by Supertunia Vista bubblegum. This is it was 8 plants that I planted this spring, I think in May, and it's just insane. This is probably 3 feet tall right here, and it's just huge, just huge. The delphinium is blooming for the 3rd time. Like I said, I did not deadhead any of my dahlias or anything out here, but I'm okay with that. This is Sweet Natalie. No, not Sweet Natalie. Linda's Baby. This is one of my absolute favorite dahlias. I was kind of hoping to get some seed, but I don't know if the bees can get into that one. This one is KA's Rosy Joe. Also beautiful. Needs deadhead, but it's gorgeous. Cute little pistachio hydrangea. It's very happy in its little pot. The brightest colored geraniums I think I've ever grown. I don't think it shows up on camera just how bright they are. They're like a mix between like a neon fuchsia and coral. They're so pretty. And then just everything else. There's echinacea, more of the geraniums. Pardon the noise in the background. John's working in the garage, but I adore this garden. It's so pretty. I have some fun ideas for next spring, what we're gonna do that actually will start this fall. I have some bulbs that we're gonna put in there. I want to show you a quick look also at a couple of other garden beds over here that I generally skip for some reason. Oh, the roses. These guys. I love a David Austin rose. These guys, one branch is a whole bouquet all by itself. And it smells incredible. I think this one is Princess Marguerite. But look at these guys. This is the hottest place on our property. It faces directly south. It's got the wall behind it, the gravel driveway in front of it, and it's just hot. So John put a bunch of peppers in here, and how fun. Look at them. Thai chili peppers, some oh, I think they're just green chilies, banana peppers. I gotta bust out some of my old canning supplies and maybe make some pickled peppers. And then this garden, this one gets tucked in here. It's late morning right now, early afternoon, and it's already going into the shade, and it's tucked in all season long, all summer. This is one of my favorite places to sit, just because it'll be blazing hot, like super hot out there, but right here, it's always in the shade after the morning, and it's just super comfortable. John's planted a bunch of stuff in here, hostas and lunaria and brunnera, all kinds of shade plants, all these beautiful ferns. It's beautiful. It's so fun. You have to take advantage of the shade where you can, at least for me around here. We have so much scrub brush, berries and whatnot, that these lush plants just make me happy. On this side we have more hostas and ferns and some of the columbine that I grew. And it really is one of my favorite places to be, especially on a hot day. Okay, now I'm gonna take you around. We're gonna walk through the St. Francis garden, and then we'll head out to the field and I'll show you everything that's going on out there. Okay, hi Winston. Here is the St. Francis garden. It's already cloaked in shade and it's so beautiful. Hi buddy, hi. You're so cute. Okay, it's in a bit of transition. So everything is very happy in here. The Dusty Miller, the sedum, the lamb's ear, everything is super happy in here. The sunflowers need to get cut down, but this is still one of my favorite places to be. This is an aster, Stokes aster that John put in here. It was a tiny little plant at the time. Now it's getting huge, and I love that there's color this time of year. Soon we will take this hydrangea and put it where that smoke bush is, just not yet. We're gonna wait until it gets a little cooler. But this garden here is still just as beautiful as it was. Look at these fuchsias. Hardy fuchsias, so they come back and stay every year. There's a little bit of jasmine in there. My honeysuckle kind of suffered a little bit, but that's okay. But all of these arborvitae that you see here, well, I've decided that all of these lemon cypress need to be somewhere else. I want everything in here to match the arborvitae down there, and I want that wall to continue. So all of these are in the process of being pulled out. They're gonna go, let me move slowly, all the way back out there. I'll show you when we get out there. They're gonna create a wall all to themselves back behind the swing set, and all of these will take the place and just make it a really clean, soothing spot to hang out. We also have, this year the Haconocloas came out and just really filled in beautifully. I took out all that rose campion and left the hydrangeas in place. I love when they start to age for the season. That sort of purpley pink color that they get with the green, it's gorgeous. We gave up on the slug and bug bait, so all of our hostas are taking a beating lately, but that's because this whole place is, like I said, in transition. Winston likes to hang out here and wait for squirrels. Everything else in here is still super happy. Oh, the hostas. It's such a calming place to be. There is, some dried up dead leaves and all the bug holes, but it's almost time. Within probably a month, we're going to be cutting them all back anyway. The hellebore. John did tuck in a couple elephant ears in the back, because why not? We still have blooming hellebore, which is not supposed to happen in September, but I'll take it. And as you can see, we have a very big mole problem. These guys are unrelenting. There's so many mole holes. They're all the way, they're everywhere. They apparently really like the soil in this garden and they just won't go away. They're making me crazy. I don't have any good solutions for them. We use Mole Max, we use whatever organic stuff that we can find, but so far, no luck. I just keep, that's one of the reasons why Winston sits out here. He's also trying to catch them. I hope that he gets them all. Okay, and then the rest of this garden, we have a stilbe that's blooming again randomly. And there's, you know, the GM and the daylilies that were done. Even the bleeding heart has come back. It's this time of year, everything is just calming and some of the cool season flowers are coming back to life. I adore this view. It's just so peaceful. Lots of bold texture, but calming, so much green, all the different shades of green. It feeds me. This is the most calming place in the garden anywhere. Okay, and let's see, what else we got? Over here, our scabiosa, the fama white. Oh, how pretty is that? They're blooming beautifully. They should come back next year. They're perennial. The echinacea is about done for the season. I could probably cut them back and get a few more stems, but I think I'm just gonna leave them. Maybe cut some of these to save the cones. Look at that bright, bright orange color for some fall crafts and arrangements. But it's been a beautiful show all summer. Like I said, this guy is going away. I think we're gonna put it back over here so it still lives. We're not just gonna cut it down. But look at the sedum. There are always bees all over this plant, especially when it heats up during the day. They just come out. Now let's go look at the pollinator garden we just put together earlier this season. My goodness, these stinking molehills, they're everywhere. Oh, this is great. How pretty. The clematis bloomed that we put in the ground as bare root earlier this season. Sorry about the plane. These are chrysanthemums still. I've got some powdery mildew. I need to just start cutting things back in here. But most of it still looks pretty happy. The salvias are doing fantastic. We have lupin, the daisies, the echinacea, everything's settled in. So next season it should be really a beautiful show. Look at these guys. The dogs came in here and knocked down my echinacea, but they're still pretty. And the daisies. I'm really, really happy with how this garden turned out. I am also kind of looking forward to cutting it all back and seeing how it does in the spring and picking different annuals to put along the edge from what we have now. We have lobelia, which is, it's just an annual, so I want to be able to change that up year over year. Okay, let's head out this way towards the garden. We can take a peek into this bed before we go. The chickens, all of my apple trees are in, they're full. I need to spend a whole day harvesting, well, at least a couple hours harvesting all the apples so they don't go to waste. I'll take them to the food bank because we can't eat that many. So what's left in here is petering out. The zinnias, once the days start to get short and it cools off, they stop. The cosmos, they're still putting out a decent amount of flowers. Same with the feverfew, but I didn't plant the feverfew, it's just volunteered itself. And even though they're putting out a lot of flowers, the cosmos are just about done. They transition late in the season. The cosmos transition so much faster from bloom to trying to go to seed because they know that it's time for the season to be over. So you only get a day or so out of a bloom rather than 3 or 4 days. But that's okay. The amaranth is still good. The red leaf hibiscus is really just getting going. And the apple of Peru is done mainly. I need to just pull it out though so it doesn't go to seed like crazy in here. Next season, this whole garden is going to be dahlias, possibly dahlias and chrysanthemums. I've had these guys in these pots all season. Look at, now is the time for them to bloom. It would be nice to have those in one of these rows so that I have the late fall blooms that will go so nicely with the hibiscus and whatever is actually left at the end. So this garden, I've talked about it before, we used to have trees, big trees right here, and since those have been taken out, it gets a lot more sun than it ever has. These hydrangeas over here are not happy about it. That, and it's been so dry this season, and we don't have irrigation set up out here. But I still, even though I still like that purpley color that they turn in the autumn, that the blooms turn. Everything in here is ready for a cutback. There's not a whole lot left. The hardy geraniums, the Daphne, some berry canes that just are unrelenting. But then in and amongst bay plant, culinary bay, we have oregano that just pops up out of nowhere. The roses. Hi guys, what are you hunting? Hey, get out. Beautiful roses. My hydrangea, the other one in here that got cooked. We do want, I don't know if we'll get there this year, but part of what we're trying to get done this year is to get water out here so that we can set up an irrigation and just let it take care of itself better than we can with the hoses and sprinklers. But even despite the need for getting all these blackberries out of here and everything else, it's still in fairly decent shape, this garden. And it looks great from afar to see the bright pink blooms and even the honeysuckle up there. I've said before, I do plan on doing a major prune on that honeysuckle because it's been there for 8 years and just, it's looking a little ragged. I love having all these herbs in here though. The sage, the oregano, they make such great bouquet fillers, and it's so nice to just go outside and grab the herbs that you need to cook with, especially in the fall. Okay, so to show you what John's been working on, if you remember in previous videos, back here was just a wall of holly berries, or holly bushes that turn into trees, blackberries, and a bunch of other random berries that were all back here behind this fence. We actually put the fence up to sort of give a dividing line between all that mess that was back there and the garden to try and keep it at bay from getting into our swing set area. But John has taken all of that out. We have a giant brush pile over here. And this is where, let me get around the magnolia. This is where all of those lemon cypress are gonna go, back here, and create sort of a wall from what's going on back here with evergreen, because most of this, there's a few big pine trees, but a lot of this is deciduous and will go away. The holly, you see all of this? That is all holly. It's massive and overwhelming, but it's still pretty, and it makes a good block in the winter. But back here, you're gonna put all those lemon cypress. This is a bit of a road that we take with the tractor and the four-wheeler. And then this right here can become another sort of shade garden. We're gonna put some taller shrubs, maybe lilacs or whatnot, that can grow here along the fence on this side of it, and then a bunch more shade-loving plants down below. I think it'll be just amazing. John's got some trees that he wants to put back here, some ornamental trees. He's a bit of a tree collector. Despite all the space, we don't have all that much room to actually put great big trees because we don't want to take down all of the native wild wildness. We want to leave all of this for the most part. But this little space will be good to put a few of his ornamental trees, some shrubs, and some other ferns and whatnot that will look really pretty back here as we make this path, this trail. John said the other day, and I agree with him, that it's starting to feel like a park, our yard, instead of just our yard. It really does. Okay, and a quick look down here to see what's blooming back here, and then we'll go in, you can see the field. This was my last minute dahlia garden from the customer that had brought me a whole bunch of tubers. Oh, look at these guys. None of these are varieties that I have. They're just so fun. They're not really cut flower varieties for the most part, though I think this one might actually be. Man, that's pretty. But most of these cactus type are not. But they are sure fun to have in the garden. And a volunteer Cosmo. But look at these guys. They're so bright and cheerful. This one, I'll have to go back and look at the video I did when I planted all these, because I have no idea what the varieties are. They're just so pretty. And just a couple things back here. John planted daylily. These are a bunch of the shrubs that we planted this late winter. We have some Japanese anemone. They can run around and do their thing out here. Hyssop. And this is John's favorite, the Coreopteris. The bees adore this one also. I'm a big fan. Same with the bees. There's always bees on it. Oh, and John took after some of the sunflower seeds and just put a smorgasbord up for the squirrels. That's good. They can eat those. Stay out of my bird feeders. Okay, next up, we're going into the field and show you what we've done, because there's clearly a bit of change. Oh, look at this. Another quick look at the dahlias over here. Look at these guys. All these are the ones that we grew from seed. This one's probably my favorite for the coloring. That had to be from Labyrinth. I love that peach with the yellow. I'm definitely keeping that one. There's so many. All the different blooms. It just makes for such a whimsical, magical feel in here. And these funny little umbrellas that are in the garden, they're actually plant umbrellas. They're there on purpose. They are there to protect the camellias underneath. When this tree got violently pruned, it left a little too much of this exposed. So John's trying to protect them until we get into winter and then spring when the tree kind of fills back in. But how beautiful is this? How fun. Okay, let's go look in here. I keep telling you we're going and then I don't. Okay, so the field. The first 6 rows have been amended and prepped for planting. As you can see, everything on this side was all done for the season. There was nothing else that I was going to get out of it. So the first 2 rows are going to be perennials. The next 4 rows, probably, maybe one more, should be ranunculus and anemone, which should be here soon. And then the next few rows will be hardy annuals and biennials that we're planting in here. Going hard on spring. The sad fact of the season is that most of my heat-loving plants, like zinnias, are just finishing up. I can still get a few blooms here and there, enough for a couple of buckets every week, but most of these are toast. Everything that I cut back, most of it is taking 2 or 3 weeks to rebound, and what I haven't cut back is just, it's the end of the season. Everything is about done. This row is completely done. So I'll probably hold on to them for another couple of weeks, but then they have all got to go. The zinnias, as beautiful as they are, their season is over. And the dahlias. So the dahlias, they can stay. I'll keep these up until a hard frost in October, November, December, wherever it lands. These will stay up until then. In the meantime, however, I need to get in here and label each and every plant. If you haven't watched before, I have a video from last season where I labeled everything, showed you how I do it and why I do it, because I will dig all of these up after that frost, and I need to know what they are after they've all turned to black mush. I still need to know what they are so that when I divide them, I can keep them all organized. But while they're still blooming, I need to come in here, and I'll do that soon, and label everything. Oh, it is one last beautiful spot in the field. There's so many pretty flowers right here. Okay, so the black-eyed Susans, these are also done. There's a few here and there that are still good, but it's too much picking through at this point. The yellow Indian summer varieties, they're toast. I can only get one or two decent ones. As soon as they harden up and you can cut them, they go over. So it's just the season. It's what happens. I do have a decent amount of status that I can come and get, and I will, and I'll dry them, and I'll take you guys along for some projects that I'm going to do with them. Everything else, the mint, the celosia is going to seed, the bupleurum the honeywort long since went to seed. I am going to take some cuttings from my geraniums so that I have a good crop for next year, and I'll still cut on these until there's no more market for them. And then my little bit of eucalyptus that I have left. I think I'm just going to cut these and keep them for myself. I will dry them and hang them in the shower and just keep them. One last little garden, and then we'll call it a day. There's a couple things that happened down here. I increased the size of this garden bed for the spring. Did the same thing as I did before, the cardboard. Oh, and I didn't show you that up there. Same thing. Cardboard, compost, and I have some starts of David phlox and some loosestrife that I'm going to put in this space. So they're perennials, so they'll be able to just take over and live here, and I'll be able to cut from them year over year. But this garden is always one of my favorites, and it fared pretty well this year. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm a big fan of shade gardens. It's just peaceful in the summertime when it's hot and you want somewhere to go. These are the places that I tend to go. But the hostas down here are looking beautiful, a lot less damage than up there. These hellebore are gigantic. They bloom beautifully every season. But everything in here is just the same. It's the same stuff that's been there all year, but it's just so nice looking and healthy and happy. The Brunnera, these are so pretty. And they'll just keep getting better year over year. That's the beauty of perennials. These guys, like I said before, everything's going to get cut back here pretty soon, except I won't cut back the hellebore. They'll stay through the winter and they'll bloom, and then I'll cut them back in the spring after all the blooms have faded. And I forgot to show you up front, right when we walked in, we did similar to right here, up here, and that's for some more perennials. Let me show you. You probably saw it on the walk-in, but I didn't talk about it. So let me show you that, and then I'll call it a day. It's kind of scattered this tour. Sorry about that. It's another excuse to walk by the dahlias, though. Oh, so pretty. That one's called American Dawn. So like I said, the first two beds on the long side, those are going to be perennials. The plant is delphinium. And then this bed is going to be lupin and possibly some yarrow. I haven't decided yet. It may be all lupin. It may be lupin for the first three beds and then yarrow at the end. I'll decide that when I get to planting. There was a bit of a tragedy. A lot of my perennials that I started earlier, they didn't take. Purely my fault, neglect. And I let them sit in the very hot sun. But the lupin did fantastic. So this bed won't be ready for planting in it probably until the spring. But I will pot all those up. I'll show you what they look like. And they're all gonna go in this bed. Okay, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I love this time of year. Everything's turning. The peony foliage is turning, and actually I like to use this in bouquets this time of year. But everything is starting to make its transition to fall and heading towards winter, and I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm excited to plant all these beds, get them ready. I'm excited to do all the rip out. I'm excited to plant fall bulbs and plan for the spring and all of it. It's just it's so much fun. I love this time of year. I know I've said that like 12 times this video. Again, like I said, I hope that you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it. It's always fun to take an extra look at your gardens. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment what you're doing in your garden right now. If you're transitioning to fall or if you're just still holding on to the last grasp of summer. And subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.